the answer. Sanjay Kaul now joining us. Sanjay, when you look around the country, yes, we are saying there's a lot of disease, we're saying there's a lot of sickness. Aren't all of us to blame? Look at the garbage. You go in any Indian city, you see piles of garbage on both sides, you see sewage running, you see people just throwing stuff on the road. Why then are we so surprised that there's sickness and disease?
Oh, thanks for touching upon this. It's an important issue, and I want to make it very clear, no, we are not responsible. And I'll tell you why, because...
Who's not responsible? The citizens are not responsible.
No.
I empty garbage out on the road, I let my sewage run, and I'm not responsible for that.
I'm trying to put this dramatically just so it has an effect, because, you know, we can very easily slip into self-flagellation mode and start saying we're all responsible. I saw a program on your own channel the other day in Hindi, and while they were going hammer and tongs at the government and the MCD, when the anchor asked them, okay, how many people think we are responsible? Will you believe it? Everybody actually raised their hands. Well, if you're responsible, what are you discussing? Look, let's figure this out clearly. There are my responsibilities as a citizen, as an owner of a house, as a man who's responsible for his family's health. And there are responsibilities of the state and its administration machinery, who are in fact paid by me to carry out those functions because I am a taxpayer. Now, I am not going to have my servant tell me, I'm sorry sir, dengue in Delhi is because of you. That's not on. Now, you are not going to lecture me and tell me that I am risking my child's life because I am not. And I believe Vikram Chandra is cleaning his coolers like Sanjay Kaul is, like everybody else in this room who's concerned is. Now, you are not going to deflect the issue by telling us I am throwing banana peels. This is a country which is 60%, 70% rural areas. We have a lot to learn in sanitation terms. What about the cities we built? What about the sewers we don't clean? Right. It's a typical thing. You're right, but he's right too. That doesn't help. I agree with most of the things that he has said earlier in the program.
Only you're right.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that. Please create a distinction. What are my duties and what are yours? And let us look at the expanse of the responsibility that is being shared here.
Look, that's fine. But if you are not emptying out your cooler, if you are allowing pools of water to accumulate on your balcony, if, as I said, you're throwing your garbage out onto the street, aren't you also to blame, or is it very easy to say, I'm making a mess, and now it's for the government to come and clean up that mess?
Vikram, how are you assuming that every man in this room at this point in the studio is not cleaning his balconies and not cleaning his air cooler? You are trying to say...
Where does garbage come from? By miracle?
No. Garbage is not air coolers.
Spontaneous generation of garbage.
Garbage is not air coolers. Let's separate the two and I'll discuss each one of them with you. The point, you are actually making an accusation. You are saying a man in Delhi or in this country is not concerned about his family's life or health. That is absolutely nonsense. That has to be rejected. Now, let's talk about garbage. Where do we get more garbage? In areas where people are educated or in areas where people are not educated? We have a huge problem. I'm not even willing to discuss garbage because we have a tradition of not understanding how the civic system works. But right. I mean, please, let's just separate the issues and not start, joking around with
All right, this is...
We are discussing Vedanta here. We all agree with you. But that's not the point here. He said very correctly, you were supposed to tell me before the outbreak of this damn disease that there is a disease going to happen. You released your first advertisement on dengue after 2 people had died. Now, do you want to discuss community involvement here? Look, I'm trying to solve the problem.
Again, rewind a little bit. Just as we were saying earlier to the authorities that, look, you should have known that mosquito season is coming.
Exactly.
Surely by now the residents and the citizens should know that if you're going to be having water lying outside your house, mosquitoes will breed in it. Doesn't make sense.
But once again, where is this assumption coming from? Why do you imagine all of us are uneducated now? We have been taught. I think all of us are responsible people. We are doing what we are supposed to do. So the question is, no, one more, because he said something very interesting. He said there's a question of penalties. Now, you know very well that the MCD has a penalty for anybody who doesn't clean his cooler. What I want to know, what is the penalty for MCD for allowing 25 people in Delhi to die? Can we allocate for this also? This also is killing me. I agree with everything that you're saying, but also. Yes. He said yes, but also.
You don't expect the government to come and
we have to nail it.
One second.
We have to nail it. We have to nail it. All I'm saying is the predominant responsibility, let me restructure this. The predominant responsibility of fixing a city lies with the civic authorities. Do we agree or don't we?
Now you're changing it.
Thank you, sir.
Now
I'm not. Hang on. You've not heard me out. The other thing is the primary responsibility of the person who's responsible for fixing the city is not to question me and put the blame back on the guy who's paying him. Do we agree?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Now, all I'm saying is I accept with all the other Vedantic knowledge that I've received. Indeed, of course, we are responsible for our cities. We have to be good people. We have to be clean people. But stop lecturing me. I am the good guy, guys. You are the educated people. We are the guys who pay the money. We are the guys who clean our houses. Nobody throws kele ka chilka out, man. Why don't we just get real on this?
I'll show you the kele ke chilke, but let's not come to that. Okay. Sanjay has declared himself the good guy. Now, let's not get into the fight on that. Gentleman there.
Yeah, as for Mr. Sanjay, let us be fine with the fact that we are still not responsible citizens. I clean up my cooler today. The neighbor next to me doesn't clean up today. He's like, okay, I'll clean up tomorrow. Is that responsible
somebody
citizens?
else? Why don't you speak for yourself and we'll all be okay?
You're the one, he's willing to take responsibility on behalf of citizens.
But that's the whole point. You take responsibility for yourself and we are all okay. We're spending so much time.
Pointing out to the other citizens who are not.
Neighbors don't. We are not responsible citizens. If the responsibility would have been there, a lot of problems in Delhi would have solved.
Responsible citizen?
We still cross red lights. We still go on the wrong way. We still aren't responsible citizens.
I agree there. But are you a responsible citizen? That's all I want to know. No. Are you one? Are you a responsible citizen?
I mean, let's take a very basic example.
He's the responsible. What everyone here is questioning is whether you can just completely wash your own hands off the problem.
No, nobody's
when it's your mess also.
We are putting a perspective. The problem is, you see, you let somebody off the hook. When you talk like this, the danger is this. I agree with all that. And it's not tautology. The truth of the matter is, now look at the example he gave. There's a urinal, people urinate out. Do you know why? Because there are not enough urinals for the people. This is a city of 180 people.
Stay there. Last row.
We are trying to blame the authority today. What are the authorities supposed to do? They're supposed to make the citizen work. A citizen among us is going to work for the authority. So why don't we become more responsible? Why are we waiting for the authority to drive us? Why don't we all become a little more responsibility and actually work for the authority without blaming the authority?
All right, you just made Sanjay a very unhappy man.
Okay, I'll answer your question in as dignified a manner as possible. I'll explain to you like this. Just a minute. Brother, just a minute. Let me answer the lady's question. I'll do it I'll give you an example. You walk into a restaurant and you order a dish. The dish is bad. What's your reaction? You rush to the kitchen and say, I'll make it and show it how to make it. No, you don't do that. You go, you call the waiter, you call the manager, you threaten them, you say, I'll send you a legal notice. And I won't accept it, I won't pay for it. That's what you should supposed to do.
Right, that's final comment now from Lieutenant Colonel Garg there.
I would say whatever we have discussed, instead of blaming the others, blaming the government agency or the citizens, I would say it's a joint responsibility. Everybody has to get up and look at himself and say what is his responsibility.
You totally disagree with that?
No, look, the point is, I'm just trying to say, first, let's not use this typical word. We are not blaming here. We're not children. We're blaming people. We are trying to fix responsibility. Now, there is a percentage of responsibility involved here. Somebody is more responsible. Somebody is also responsible. But let's not confuse the two issues. All I'm pleading with. There are jobs you're supposed to do as people. You teach your children. You run good families. You teach your children to pay taxes. That's your first responsibility. You make sure you don't endanger somebody else's life. That's a moral responsibility. These are ethical issues. We follow all these. Why are we in this mode of saying, I'm not good enough? Your problem is your government is never good enough for you. And if you accept this nonsense that you're accepting today, you will repeatedly get this. You have to demand more and get the best. If not, refuse it.
All right.